Strategies for rearranging terms in an equation. What we've done so far is we first identify the operation applied on x, and then we applied the opposite operation. Now, the reason that we apply the opposite operation is because every time we apply the opposite, we end up adding or subtracting to 0. Okay, so let's do an example here. Negative 12n plus 3 equals 27. Now, I realize that the 3 is on the wrong side. The opposite operation of 3 plus 3 is minus 3. So I want to subtract 3. Now, if I subtract 3 on one side, I have to subtract 3 on the other side too. But the nice thing is, here, when I'm subtracting 3, because I've applied the opposite operation, I always end up with a 0. So when I continue to solve, I would have negative 12n is equal to 24, and then we can solve for the n. So the fact that I'm writing the negative 3 is also a little bit redundant. I know that when I apply the opposite, it's always going to add or subtract and result in 0. So let's try in the next couple of examples not to write this step, because this step is a little redundant. Okay, so in this one, let's first collect our like terms. So we have 5 plus 7x is equal to 19. I know that the operation here is 5 plus 7x. So 5 is being added to the term with the x. The opposite of that is to subtract by 5. Now, if I subtract 5 from positive 5, that's going to give me 0. So I have 7x is equal to 19 minus 5. I just didn't write the 5 minus 5 because I know that gives me 0. 7x is equal to 14. I've collected my like terms again. Now, with the coefficient, I'm going to divide, and I have x is equal to 2. Now, for this one, let's do this the same way. I want to rearrange all the x's on the left and numbers on the right. So that means this positive 2 needs to be on the right-hand side, and the opposite of positive 2 or plus 2 is subtract 2. This positive 2x is on the wrong side as well. In this case, it's negative 4 is adding 2x. So the opposite of adding 2x would be subtracting 2x. What we're doing, we need to subtract 2 on both sides. We also need to subtract 2x on both sides. If I subtract 2 on the left-hand side, this is going to become 0, so I'm just not going to write it. When I subtract 2x from this side, this will also become 0. So I'm also not going to write that. So what we have remaining, 3x minus 2x equals negative 4 minus 2. Let's continue to simplify. Left side is x is equal to negative 6. Let's try this again. We're going to solve these without writing all the steps. Okay, I want to have all the k's on this side and all the numbers on this side. We know that this one is not in the right place. This one is also not in the right place. So for my plus 7 to become 0, I would have to subtract 7. For my subtract 5x or 5k to become 0, I need to add 5k. So our new equation, we would have negative 2k plus 5k. This equals 8 minus 7. So notice at the beginning, I just rewrite what was left from the original equation. After rewriting, then I introduce the opposite operation. So in this case, I added 5k, and on this side, I subtracted 7. Let's collect our like terms now. Negative 2k plus 5k, that's 3k, and this is equal to 1. Now we need to divide by the coefficient. And in this case, the coefficient is 3. So when we divide both sides by 3, I have 3k over 3 is equal to 1/3. Now, a lot of people feel uncomfortable with a fraction answer, but we've done what they've told us to do, which was to divide by the coefficient so we could get x, or k in this case, on its own. So our final answer is going to be a fraction. K is equal to 1/3. Let me put that in writing to remind you it's okay to have a fraction. Let's look at this equation now. We're going to do same thing. We need to rearrange things so that it's in the right place. I want all the m's on one side, and I want all the numbers on the other side. That means this 5 is in the wrong spot, and this subtract 2 is also in the wrong spot. The opposite of a plus 5 here would be minus 5, and the opposite of subtract 2m would be plus 2m. So let's rewrite this. Once again, I'm going to start off by rewriting what I have from the original equation, minus 3m. And then on the right side, I still have a minus 2m. So let's rearrange it. This positive 5 becomes a subtract 5. 5 subtract 5 on the right-hand side is 0. It just ends up on the right side now. Negative 2m, if I add a positive 2m, it becomes 0 on the right-hand side. So it's only in the left side. Now, let me continue to simplify. So I have negative 1m is equal to negative 7. Now we're not done yet because the coefficient here is 1. It's not 1, sorry, it's negative 1. A variable must have a coefficient of 1 for the question to be finished. Now it isn't finished because we have a coefficient of negative 1 here. Since negative 1m is equal to negative 7, has a coefficient of negative 1, we need to divide negative 1 to both sides to make the variable positive. So now I have negative 1m divided by negative 1 equals negative 7 divided by negative 1. When we simplify, the two negative 1's divide out, and we have m is equal to positive 7. Pause the video and try these questions on your own. Right here are the solutions to the questions that I asked you to try on your own. Sometimes there's going to be questions where you have brackets. So we need to remember the distributive property. The distributive property says that we are going to take the number outside of the bracket and we have to multiply it in to each term inside the bracket. So my 5 is going to be multiplied with the x. 5 is also going to be multiplied with the 4. So when we expand it, we have 5x plus 20, and we're just rewriting the entire right-hand side. 3x plus 14. Next, we're going to rearrange the equation. 3x is on the wrong side. The opposite of plus 3x would be subtract 3x. Positive 20 is also on the wrong side, so I'm going to subtract 20 to both sides. Now we rewrite 5x minus 3x equals 14 minus 20. Let's simplify again. 2x is equal to negative 6. And finally, let's divide by our coefficient. 2x divided by 2 is equal to negative 6 divided by 2. X is equal to negative 3. Another example similar to that. We have a question that has a bracket. We're going to expand by taking the 3 and multiplying each term inside the bracket. So we now have x is equal to 15 minus 3x, and I'm rewriting the plus 1. I'm going to rearrange it now. Put all the x's on the left-hand side and all the numbers on the right. We have x plus 3x equals 15 plus 1. On the left side, we're collecting our like terms. 4x is equal to 16. And now let's divide by the coefficient of 4. So we have x is equal to 4. Okay, these ones have more brackets now. We're going to treat these the same way. We're going to expand all of the brackets before we simplify. So 2x minus 6 equals negative 3x minus 15 minus 6. And that's the expansion. Let's collect like terms first, because the less numbers we have to work with, the less chance for error. I'm going to collect the numbers that are on the right-hand side. 2x minus 6 equals negative 3x minus 21. Now I'm going to rearrange. 2x plus 3x equals negative 21 plus 6. Collect like terms again. 5x is equal to negative 15. And we're going to divide both sides by the coefficient of 5. So x is equal to negative 3. Let's do another one. Now in this case, if I'm subtracting, remember that if there is no symbol or no coefficient, the assumption is that there's a 1. So what that means is my equation here, there's a negative 1 that needs to be multiplied into the bracket. So 5m minus 15 minus m plus 2 equals 19. Let's collect the like terms that we have first. M take away 5m take away 1m. That's 4m. Next, negative 15 plus 2 minus 13 equals 19. Now we're going to rearrange. So 4m is equal to 19 plus 13. 4m is equal to 32. Divide by the coefficient. So we have 4m divided by 4 equals 32 divided by 4. M is equal to 8.